Pleasure to speak with you both, and congrats on the Duel. This is such a fun film, and Dylan, I love that you just got behind such a unique and fun idea for a comedy. So what really caught your eye about this project? Because it's very offbeat, it's very weird, it goes down a bunch of directions people won't be expecting, but I just adore the premise. So what kind of got you on board?
Well, similarly to what you just said, I think all of those things stood out to me. Both Luke and Justin, our writer-director duo, are longtime friends of mine. And so the kind of impetus from me to executive produce was also in an effort to start making movies more with the people that I love and try to create something for ourselves, a little home for ourselves. So that's actually been one of the main reasons, but I mean, I think it always starts at the script, right? And the script was super strong. So that was the primary modus operandi there. And of course, I am easily bamboozled by getting free Italian food, which did happen. So
I
that was
love I love that. And Callan, both men here are committed to dueling each other after somebody, Dylan's character, sleeps with the other's girlfriend. It really just becomes this really interesting examination of like the male ego and stubbornness. These people are just unable to talk it out, and they just keep doubling down on this duel. What did you find most interesting about that aspect?
I mean, I think it's a fairly timely kind of a exploration of masculinity in an era when we're all kind of having these discussions about what it means to be a man and what it ought to mean. And to me, this one of the beautiful parts of this movie is that it is both a celebration of and a condemnation of masculinity. And by the end of it, I feel like one of the things that I come away with is that perhaps we oughtn't be throwing the baby out with the bathwater, in a sense, because there is a beauty to it, but there's also a wild hubris to it as well. And watching Woody's more pretentious side come out at the impetus of the thing, and then watching it find earnest footing as it gets closer and closer to the thing itself. Uh, it's beautiful, and I've also sorry, there's a couple of flies in here somehow. I've also been a long time kind of I don't want to say a fan of, but I've had a long time interest in dueling, and its various historical iterations. And so for me, I just wanted to be a part of a movie that was wrought by people that share similar passions to me.
Yeah, and Dylan, I know this completely contradicts what Callan just beautifully said, but as a man, watching this film, I'm still like, man, dueling's really cool. You know, like there's that inherent element where like even though it goes into the worst of us, like there is something appealing, like carnally of just like seeing two dudes with a gun facing off each other. That's, there is that appeal to it, right?
absolutely. I mean, and by the way, what part of the reason that we love this script so much and what happened in the screenings was there's really no wrong takeaway. Dueling is cool.
It is cool, yeah.
It is a very cool thing, and it's also it it is cool to right the wrongs that you've made with your friends as a show of your love. You know, I joke often with people, but I do mean it, is that I think that this movie is a love story between friends. You know, like this is a friendship love story. This is how far are you willing to go to prove that you love me as your best friend, and furthermore, like even as ridiculous as it gets, is this something you can uphold for your word as a human being to me? And that's cool too. You know, people
Yeah.
walk away out of the screenings and they're like, this is a, we've had very different reactions where they go, this is a perfect movie on display about like the ridiculousness of masculinity. And then we'd have other people come out and go, this is a perfect display of how cool it is that dudes will follow something to its end. And
Hmm.
both are completely valid and right. And I think the movie does a good job of placing those subject matters delicately, and also giving weight to both of them and not saying either one is wrong.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
real tendency to fall into false dichotomies when interpreting a movie, especially one like this. And that ambiguity, I think, is important. And also, it's cool to give a shit about something.
Yeah.
That's wonderfully put. And Callan, Ronald Gutman, he's the cartel leader in this, Rodolfo, and he's just so fantastic in this film. He's going so eccentric with his character. How is it acting opposite him? Because he really steals some scenes.
He was astonishing. I mean, I didn't really know what to expect from the character. Of course, when I read it, uh, various kind of caricatures appeared in my head with various accents. Um, but to see him work his magic was an astonishing thing because he was. I think there were a couple of times, certainly one that I remember, where he was given on the day a whole new, almost like a monologue to deliver, and such was his level of professionalism that he turned around, said to the directors, give me 20 minutes, and then delivered one of the best scenes in the film. So he was a kind of I guess, a hallmark for the rest of us, and uh, he really adds some much needed color to the film.
Yeah, he's great. And Dylan, you mentioned being an EP on this project, so I was curious, what was most rewarding about being involved and really forming this project rather than just acting?
Well, I think that the most rewarding part of being an EP, I will say, like being an actor on a project, you get a lot less rewards than you would as exclusively an EP. An EP, your job is very much through the entire life cycle of the movie, whereas as an actor, you're kind of fixated at a certain point. Um, Honestly, the most rewarding part for me is seeing this movie come to fruition and watching all of my close friends who were both in cast and crew kind of live out their goals and it be accomplished in such a grand way. The movie is good. It stands on its own, and I feel like I would have felt good even if we made a bad movie, which I don't think would have been possible, but even if we made something that wasn't up to the standard, I would have been happy to see all my friends work together and to see them achieve their first time directing, writing, even in the case of our directors. But we all made something great, and that in itself is a major gift, and something that I definitely want to continue to pursue.
Yeah, you definitely achieved something really good here. And Callan, I was curious, this is a director duo of Justin Matthews and Luke Spencer Roberts. I wanted to ask about that experience of having, two directors here. I would imagine that kind of lends itself to just a more collaborative experience, just inherently. How was that working with two directors?
Well, of course, they wrote it together as well, so they, at least from a kind of a foundational level, they were speaking the same language, which was very helpful because there were never any sort of conflicting directions given to me. But I did find that it was a beautiful thing because if I wasn't responding to a certain, I guess, iteration of their direction, the other one would come up and put it in different terms that might better resonate with me. And so between the two of them, there was always something helpful, and there was always something clear. But they're both so talented, and they both had such a united vision for what this movie was supposed to be that it had none of the pitfalls, really, to me, of double directors and all of the games. So, and beyond that, they were both dear friends of mine prior to the shooting, and I was excited to work with them and to engage that friendship in a new environment.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what they do next. And Dylan, my last question, I have to ask since I'm a gamer, but you have such a cool role in Kingdom Hearts 3. It's very meta. You're a video game character inside a video game. What did you like most about that role?
I do have my friends know this about me. I do have a propensity to love like edgelord characters. I find that like, and it's genuine too, right? Like a lot of people like edgelords because they're like, "Ugh," they're like, yeah, I can't. I do genuinely love them, I think. And that character is certainly a bit of an edgelord, and it's the first one that I got to play, and that was actually not ironic, right? It was an authentic edgelord experience. So that for me, I would say was my favorite board.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much and congrats on the duel. It's a whole lot of fun, so congrats.